Welcome to Veterans Upward Bound English classes. I'm your instructor, Virginia Kaufman, and today we're going to talk about Unit 1, Part 4, Parts of Speech, and focus on articles. Not articles in the newspaper necessarily or articles in magazines. This time we're going to focus on the biggest little words in English, those articles. Let's start with the articles a, an, and the. A and an always mean one something. Thus, a book means one book. An apple means one apple. Both a and an mean one indefinite something. Indefinite means that the speaker or the writer has not identified exactly who or what they, he, she is talking about. After the speaker or writer says who or what they are talking about, you can switch from a and an to the. We use the for definite or identified nouns. The difference between a and an is as follows. We use a before words beginning with a consonant letter or a long U. A long U says its name, so that'll make it easy to remember. Therefore, we say a uniform. We wouldn't say an uniform. A uniform, a university, a usual day, and a unit. If we're identifying a specific item, we would say a book, a dog, a baseball, a copy. Now, some people say that's fine. A book, a dog, a baseball, a copy. Or maybe a smell, a visit, a door, a zero. Or how about a hat, a horse, a house, and a hut. So continuing with use of a, and the, we use and before words beginning with the vowels A, E, I, O, and a short U, as well as the silent H. Look at these examples. An hour, an honorable man, an honest woman, an heir. We wouldn't say a hour, a honorable man. An umbrella, an animal, an orange, an unusual hat. Or an envelope, an inkjet, an ugly accident, and an image. Okay, focusing in a little closer on a, and the, we can remember that the articles a and an can only be used with count nouns, and those are nouns that can be counted, like books, pictures, computers, doors, etc. Non-count nouns cannot be counted because they're more like ideas or abstract things. However, after first mentioning a non-count noun with words such as some, any, a little, a lot, etc., the next time you mention those words, you can use the definitive article, the. Let's look at these examples. I used uniform for my first count noun, and my sentence is, a uniform was required for the job. Now, in the second example, I used a non-count noun, advice, and the sentence is, while some advice given by an expert was helpful for the prosecutor, the advice hurt the defendant's case. So you can see that after we mentioned some advice, we could use the definitive article the when repeating the word advice. Let's now look at the use of the article the. We use the word the before singular nouns, identified nouns, and plural nouns. Identified nouns are nouns that a speaker or writer has already said once, or nouns that are unique. Unique in this case means there is only one of a certain thing. For example, the sun and the moon are unique. Therefore, we would use the when speaking about the Space Needle or the cafeteria in the college, maybe the teacher of this class or the oldest person in the world. How about the fastest car or the President of the United States, or even the clock in the room? There's only one of each of these examples. The difference between a book and the book is a book means one of many possible books, while the book means a certain identified book. Another example, a nurse means one of many nurses, while the nurse means one particular nurse. So why don't we do an exercise where you underline the articles in the following sentences, and you can pause the screen and go through each sentence, and then we'll go over them. Here are the sentences. I have a book. The book is in my office. A man came into my classroom. The man is from Somalia. A car stopped in front of my house. The car was a convertible. There was an umbrella on the counter in my room. The umbrella belongs to one of my students. An old woman got on the bus. The old woman walked very slowly. I saw an elephant at the zoo. The elephant had long tusks. An honest man gave me the money that I lost. The honest man spoke with an accent. A hat blew off a man's head. The man had just bought the hat. A young girl wore a school uniform. The girl had to wear the uniform every day to school. I taught at a university in Idaho. The university was in Pocatello, Idaho. I drank some coffee. The coffee was from Brazil. He put some water in a pot. The water in the pot was from the faucet. Okay, so pause the screen and go ahead and underline the articles. And remember, there's some sentences that are going to have more than one article in them. And then come back. Did your answers look like this? Let's stay just a little bit longer with the article the. With certain expressions of time, we use the, don't we? For example, in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. However, there are certain times of day and night that we would not use it, or times of the month, and those would be like at night, at noon, at midnight, on Tuesday, in March, in December. In those cases, we do not use the article the. We also do not use the article the for abstract nouns. Abstract nouns are non-tangible nouns that we cannot touch. And these are also non-count nouns, remember? So examples would be love, hate, beauty, intelligence, peace, sadness, friendship, honesty, and so forth. Examples of sentences with that is everyone needs love in his or her or their life. We need friendship among countries, and there is a lot of beauty in nature. So in those abstract noun situations, we do not use the article the. We might consider this an exception to the rule because we said not to use the with abstract nouns. However, if an abstract noun is followed by a prepositional phrase, we do use the in front of the abstract noun. And in these examples below, I've bolded the beginning of the prepositional phrase, so you'll see of a child, of some people, after a death, between old friends, and in a song. These are the prepositional phrases. They are preceded by the abstract word, and those abstract nouns are preceded by the article the. So the love of a child, the intelligence of some people, the sadness after a death, the friendship between old friends, and the beauty in a song. So the article the is getting a lot of attention here, but we use the with superlatives, and a superlative by definition means only one of something. So it goes back to that whole unique, right? The best, the worst, the biggest, the oldest, the most beautiful, the most expensive, the cheapest, the youngest, the fattest, the least intelligent, the most popular, the busiest, the fastest, the most important, the least interesting. All superlative expressions have the same meaning as only one, and that is why we use the article the with them. Thank you for your participation with this brush up on the use of a, an, and the. And for more help with articles or with any topics relating to English, you will definitely be able to meet with a Veterans Upward Bound tutor, and they will go through it in much more depth.